I'm Florence Weber-Zuanigh, a diversity and inclusion consultant, as well as a coach and a facilitator. And we're going to be talking about ADHD. So ADHD stands for Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder. Now that word disorder can be very off-putting, and many people choose not to perceive their ADHD as a disorder at all. Just a way to explain how their brain works. There's been a lot of raising diagnoses and of people seeking diagnosis in the past few months, in the past few years. A lot of it can be attributed to social media, where some people have been opening up about their symptoms and how ADHD shows up for them on a day-to-day basis, which has been resonating for many other people, which encourage them to start the process that can be long and tedious to look for a diagnosis. There's a lot of criticism as well that's been going on about people that choose to self-diagnose with ADHD. This is a very valid part of seeking a diagnosis. People wouldn't start looking for an official diagnosis if they didn't start by, to some extent, self-diagnosing with ADHD. And there is something very important as well in terms of how it shows up depending on the sex you were assigned at birth. So if you were assigned female at birth, for example, the symptoms might be different, not necessarily from a medical standpoint, but also from a societal standpoint. So if you were assigned female at birth, for example, in terms of the leading symptom of ADHD is more likely to be inattention as opposed to, say, impulsivity or hyperactivity. But impulsivity and hyperactivity tends to be the thing that parents would pick up on more easily or teachers would pick up on more easily. So it's basically more likely that it would go under the radar. And a lot of girls and women would then go on later in life mentioning some of their struggles to medical professionals who might put it down to anxiety. But there is really that awareness as well in the medical community that girls and women, there need to be like a change in the bias that there is currently to make sure that girls and women can have the diagnosis that they seek. And the diagnosis on the NHS can be a very long process. Waiting lists can be very long. You might need to fill in some very long questionnaires, which is a bit ironic, knowing how difficult it can be to focus when you have ADHD and fill in something as long and tedious as that. But there is also a diagnosis at the end of the day, which might as well unlock some more support and some more understanding of what it is like to live with ADHD. There are a lot of books out there about girls and women in the sense of biological sex and how ADHD can show up for them. So please don't hesitate to look at any of those resources. You can have books, you have as well some people that you can follow on social media, and it can really help unlock like a whole world of understanding for yourself or for anyone you love who has ADHD.